morning, children. Today we'll begin with the chapter 18, that is body fluids and circulation. In this chapter, we'll study about the blood, lymph tissue, fluid. Lymph is also termed as tissue fluid, as well as the circulatory pathways and the structure of heart, double circulation and the regulation of cardiac activity, and the various disorders which can be caused due to the circulatory system. Now, we begin with the body fluids. Now, all the living organisms, they require nutrients, oxygen and other essential substances. This you have already learned from the last two chapters, that is digestion and the respiration. So, all the cells in all the living organisms, they require oxygen as well as various nutrients and to run out their body metabolic activities, and they release waste and harmful substances out of their different organs. That means all the living organisms, they are having different organs for removing the waste and taking in of the food and the oxygen. Now the simple organisms like sponges and coelentrates like hydra and all that, they circulate water from their surroundings through their body cavities so that they can facilitate the exchange of the gases. So the sponges, hydra and Aurelia, Ovelia, all these, they actually circulate water from their surroundings through their body cavities. And the complex organisms like we, or you can say the human beings, they have special fluids within their body which help in the transportation of materials. Like in plants, you have learned in your class 10th, xylem and phloem is there for as the means of transportation. Similarly, in your body, there are special fluids which help in the transportation of materials. These are blood and the lymph. So the blood is the very common, or you can say it is generally used as a body fluid by all the human beings, and this lymph, which is the tissue fluid which flows in the tissue spaces, this is the another means of the fluid which help in the transportation of different materials within the body. So now we'll learn about the blood. Blood is what? Blood is a special connective tissue. It consists of fluid matrix and it is formed of various elements. I am repeating what is blood. You can also see on the screen, blood is the fluid connective tissue and it is made up of some other elements as well as the fluid matrix and the plasma. So this way, first of all, we'll study about the and various other flow chart which I will be giving you through the notes. They will be showing you that blood contains plasma and the formed elements or the components. So the plasma is the viscous fluid material present in the blood. It is around nearly about 55% and its color is straw color, and it contains water and proteins. Proteins are very less, only 6 to 8% roundabout. So plasma, I'll tell you more detail about the plasma. So plasma is the straw color fluid present in the blood, and the rest are the elements which are termed as erythrocytes, leukocytes and thrombocytes. Erythrocytes are also termed as red blood cells, leukocytes are termed as white blood cells, and thrombocytes are termed as platelets. Then the leukocytes are also divisible into granulocytes and agranulocytes. The granulocytes are having cytoplasmic the cytoplasmic is granular. They are further divisible into neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils. And agranulocytes, here the cytoplasm is non-granular or it is homogeneous. Agranulocytes are monocytes, lymphocytes, and there are two types of lymphocytes, B lymphocytes and the T lymphocytes. So now we'll learn detail about the plasma. So what is plasma? I told you just now. Plasma constitutes around about 55% part of the blood. What is its color? It is straw colored. What does it consist of? It consists of water and few proteins and certain minerals like sodium ions, calcium ions, magnesium ions, bicarbonate ions, chloride ions, all these nutrients, as well as some other nutrients like glucose, amino acids, lipids, etc. Plasma also contains hormones and, very important thing, the clotting factors. These clotting factors, remind, they are present in inactive form. These clotting factors are formed in inactive form. Now, how much amount of water is there in the plasma? Plasma contains around about 92% of water and proteins constitute 6 to 8% of it. Now, there are two types of proteins present in the plasma. The two types of proteins present in the plasma are fibrinogens and globulins. These are very important proteins. So, fibrinogens are required for the process of clotting or coagulation, and globulins are required for fighting with the germs. That means they help as the defense mechanism of our body. Another one more type of protein is there. They are albumins. Albumins, they help in balancing the osmotic level, that is, the minerals and nutrients which are present in the plasma, they are always in transit in the body. So the plasma without clotting factors is called as serum. I would like to repeat, albumins help in osmotic balance, and these minerals and nutrients present in the plasma are always in a transit in the body, and the plasma without clotting factors is called as serum. Plasma without clotting factors is called as serum. Now, what are the formed substances or the formed elements present in the blood? I told you just now, the formed elements are erythrocytes, leukocytes and platelets. Erythrocytes also termed as RBC, leukocytes also termed as WBC, and platelets thrombocytes, and these are collectively formed elements. These are collectively called as formed elements. They constitute near about 45% of the blood. Now here I would like to show you the diagram here given in your NCERT, and this diagram is showing you about the various formed elements in the blood, or you can call them blood components. Here you can see RBC, that means erythrocyte, platelets, thrombocytes, eosinophils, WBCs, and these forms, various forms, like they are WBCs, basophils, neutrophils, monocytes, T and B, which I told you just now. So the eosinophils and the neutrophils, I told you they are the granulocytes. They are the leukocytes, but they are the granulocytes. I will repeat it again for you. Then the erythrocytes, we move on to the erythrocytes. Erythrocytes, another name of erythrocytes is red blood cells or RBC. Now you can easily see the shape of the RBC. RBC are circular or biconcave shape. here is the description of your NCERT of the erythrocytes, and therefore you can help the biconcave shape of the RBC help in binding of hemoglobin with the blood easily. Therefore they are biconcave shape, but they lack nucleus. They do not contain nucleus, and the cell organelles in most of the mammals, and therefore I would like to say again, they are circular, they are biconcave disc-like, the nucleus is absent, and all the cell organelles, most of the mammals, they contain RBCs. They are often in the bone marrow in adults. Where are they present? They are present in the bone marrow of the adults. A healthy adult man has an average of about 5 to 5.5 millions of RBCs per cubic mm of blood. They contain a respiratory pigment that is called as hemoglobin. So they contain red colored iron containing complex protein hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a respiratory pigment, but what is it formed due to? It is a red colored iron containing complex protein hemoglobin. A healthy individual has round about 12 to 16 grams of hemoglobin every 100 ml of blood. That means every 100 of blood contains around about 12 to 16 grams of hemoglobin in a healthy individual. Hemoglobin is very important respiratory pigment because it helps in transporting the respiratory gases, which you have learned in the previous chapter. The lifespan of RBCs is about 120 days. I am repeating, lifespan of RBCs is 120 days, after which they get destroyed. So where do they reach? After getting destroyed, they reach to the spleen. So the spleen is the graveyard of RBCs. Spleen is the graveyard of RBCs. As well as the dead RBCs, they help in the formation of bilirubin and biliverdin. That is the bile pigments, which I had already discussed along with you in the chapter digestion, that is chapter 16. Now we move on to the leukocytes. Leukocytes are also termed as white blood cells or WBC. WBCs, they are colorless because of the absence of hemoglobin. I am repeating, WBC or leukocytes, they are colorless due to absence of hemoglobin. They are nucleated. And their number is round about 6,000 to 8,000 cubic mm of blood, millimeter of blood. So WBCs are short-lived. WBCs are short-lived, and they, as you know, their function, they help in building about our defense mechanism of our body. So WBC is again very important in our body, and I told you they are around about 6,000 to 800 cubic mm of the blood, and they are short-lived, and they are of different types, two different types. One is granulocytes, another is agranulocytes, which I had told you just in the beginning only. The granulocytes means the cytoplasm is granular. I am repeating, granulocytes means cytoplasm is granular, and agranulocytes means cytoplasm is non-granular or homogeneous. So now we'll learn detail about it. So these WBC, the granular WBCs with granular cytoplasm, and here the nucleus is polymorphic, means different forms. Nucleus is polymorphic, and the three main types of granulocytes are neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils, which the diagram you can see on the screen. WBCs are neutrophils, basophils and eosinophils. They are also termed as granulocytes because the cytoplasm is granular. Another type is agranulocyte. These are the WBCs with non-granular cytoplasm. These are WBCs with non-granular cytoplasm, and their shape is rounded or bilobed nucleus, and their nucleus is rounded or bilobed. So these agranular WBCs, they are non-granular cytoplasm and their nucleus is bilobed and it is rounded. They are divisible into two types, monocytes and lymphocytes. Monocytes are large lymphocytes. Monocytes are large WBC because they can undergo the process of phagocytosis, means they can engulf the foreign organism which enters your body. That means therefore they are called as large lymphocytes. So monocytes, I repeat, they are round about 6 to 8% of the total WBC, and they are phagocytic cells. Phagocyte means they can undergo phagocytosis. Phago means engulfing of the solid particle. So they engulf the solid foreign particle which is entering into the blood. So this way they destroy the foreign particle which is entering in our blood. Therefore they are very important because they can phagocytosis the microbes which are disease causing microbe and which are not required for our body. Lymphocytes, they are around about 20 to 25% of the total WBC, and there are two types of lymphocytes. They are termed as B lymphocytes and the T lymphocytes. B lymphocytes, actually they mature in bone marrow, therefore they are termed as B lymphocytes, whereas the T lymphocytes, they are mature in the thymus, therefore they are termed as B lymphocytes. And these both B lymphocytes and the T lymphocytes, they are very important because they are responsible for immune responses in our body. Immune responses means building up our immunization, and they show the response. These two only show the response, that is resistance power. Another type is the thrombocytes. Thrombocytes are also termed as platelets, and they are very important components of the blood. These thrombocytes, they are cell fragments, and they are produced from megakaryocytes, and they are produced from the megakaryocytes. What are these megakaryocytes? These are cells which are very specialized and they are formed in bone marrow. So these cells are the specialized cells formed in the bone marrow. Thus thrombocytes are the cell fragments which are produced from these megakaryocytes, and they are about 1,50,000 to 3 lakh to 50,000 per cubic mm of the blood. Now what is the function of the thrombocytes or the platelets? Actually they release a variety of the substances, which out of which some are the substances which help in the coagulation of the blood or clotting of the blood. And if their number is reduced, if the number of the platelets is reduced, can lead to the excessive loss of blood from our body. And therefore even if minor injuries are there in our body, and due to that the blood leaks out from the blood, out of the blood vessels, if these clotting factors or the platelets are low, they help in loss of blood in our body. So therefore these components, all the three components are very, very important for our body, or you can say they are important components of the blood. Now the blood groups, various blood groups. So first of all I'll just recall the three for you. The first one is the erythrocyte, that is the RBC. Before that I told you little about the plasma. Plasma is a straw colored viscous fluid and it contains around about 55% of the blood, part of the blood, and contains what? Water, proteins, many minerals and nutrients like glucose, amino acid, lipids. The minerals, they are sodium ions, calcium ions, magnesium ions and bicarbonate and chloride ions. And round about you can say 92% or 90% of the water is present in the plasma, and the proteins are few, round about 6 to 8% of the proteins. Then also contains certain proteins, major proteins. They are fibrinogens which help in clotting, globulins which build up our defense mechanism, and albumins, they help in the main, you can say the clotting vectors, main the osmotic balance. Albumins help in the osmotic balance. So, and the minerals and the nutrients present in the plasma, they are helping in the body, say for the clotting and all that. The plasma without clotting factor is called as serum. Plasma without clotting factor, that is fibrinogen, is called as serum. And the various components of the blood which I am just recalling for you, they are erythrocytes, leukocytes and thrombocytes. Erythrocytes are the RBCs or the red blood cells. They are, the shape is, shape of the RBC is biconcave shape. The biconcave shape or of RBCs help in binding with the hemoglobin easily. And if the shape is distorted due to certain genetic disorder, say suppose in sickle cell anemia is a genetic disorder. In this, the RBC shape of the biconcave shape becomes sickle shape, due to which the hemoglobin binding is hindered, and lack of binding then causes lots of problem. You can say the oxygen, lack of oxygen and lack of oxidation and the lack of ATP. So this way, this about the sickle cell anemia, you will be learning detail afterwards in your class 12. At present, I only wanted to tell you about the shape. That biconcave shape helps in binding of the hemoglobin with the RBC cells. And where are they formed? They are formed in the bone marrow in adults, and they lack nucleus, and the cell organelles of most of the mammals cell organelles, they contains the RBC. And I already told you that red colored pigment, iron containing pigment, that is containing this complex protein called hemoglobin, which is a respiratory pigment, and it plays a significant role in transportation of respiratory gases. And I mentioned already the average lifespan of RBC is 120 days, and if they get, yes, of course, after that they get destroyed and they reach to the graveyard of RBCs is spleen, so they reach to the spleen. And the leukocytes, called as WBCs, they are colorless as they lack hemoglobin, but they are nucleated, and because of the presence or the absence of the granules, they are divisible into two types, granulocytes and agranulocytes, and they are short-lived, and their number is about 6,000 to 8,000 cubic mm of the blood. And the granulocytes, I told you, contains the granular cytoplasm, and the nucleus is polymorphic. They are of three types: neutrophils, basophils, eosinophils. Agranulocytes, these WBC are non-granular types, means they are having non-granular cytoplasm, and they are rounded or bilobed nucleus, and they are two types, monocytes and lymphocytes. So the monocytes, they are round about, I told you, 6 to 8% very important leukocytes in our blood, very important leukocytes, because they can undergo the process of phagocytosis. The phagocytosis means to engulf the solid particle, or they engulf the foreign microbe or the foreign organism which enters our blood. Or this way, the foreign microbe means which is a disease causing microbe and not beneficial for our blood or for our body. So they engulf it, and therefore it is destroyed. And then the lymphocytes, they are containing two types of lymphocytes, B lymphocytes and the T lymphocytes. B lymphocytes mature in the bone marrow, and the T lymphocytes, they mature in the thymus. They are very, very important because they are helping in our immune responses. And another is I told you at the last, the thrombocytes. The thrombocytes are the cell fragments produced from the megakaryocytes, specialized cells, very important because they contain various substances required in the clotting of the blood, and if their reduction in their number can lead to excessive loss of blood from the body and can even cause so much destruction of the blood. So therefore thrombocytes again very, very important for our body. This way, the next lecture I will discuss about the blood groups. They are the ABO blood grouping and the RH factor. So this I will recall you in my next video. Thank you.